Hello, welcome to Tuesday's episode. And if you've been here a little while, you may know on a Tuesday we talk about money, pricing, packaging, curating a pricing menu, how to negotiate, sell, all of these things. And you might want to grab a piece of paper and a pen here because I've got some questions and some exercises around increasing your prices in 2026. Now, I am not an accountant. I'm not a financial advisor. And so I am not going to be talking about spreadsheets. I'm not going to be talking about the technical numbers. I'm not going to be talking about profit and loss or tax or anything like that. I'm going to be talking about the mindset stuff. And often this is not something that was spoken to us, certainly not in maths. You know, when I was in year 9, we were talking about trigonometry, probability, quadratic equations. Nobody ever said to me, so now we're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about how it feels in our body. We're going to talk about how to put together a deal. And yet we are expected, whether that's from society or within ourselves, to go out there and smash it, not make mistakes, and do all the things immediately. Firstly, if you have made mistakes, if you have had so many twists and turns in your career where maybe things financially haven't gone to plan, or you haven't made the money that you wanted, or you're just at a point where you're not feeling like you have a great relationship with it. It just feels a bit like, all right, this is my year where I really want to get to the root of it. Firstly, before we dive in, I want you to approach all of this with as much compassion and kindness as possible. And I want you to think about how you would take somebody through something. Maybe that's your child, maybe that's your parent, and maybe your approach with yourself is that of frustration or anger, or you just want to really spill out your truth. But you know that that response is not going to get you to the place and the space where you need to be. I know with my children, there is a moment where, I don't know, it becomes, I don't know even what the word is. You know, if I tell them off and they've done something or they've broken something, I will have a response. And then there will be a second layer to this process of, do you know what? And this is the why. And going forward, we need to X, Y, and Z. In that moment, that's when they have tools and solutions. And so I would love you to take that role with yourself, because berating yourself, saying that you did it wrong, beating yourself up and saying, oh, I'm such a whatever and I always do this, it's not going to help you. I think that if we're positive with ourselves, if we take care of ourselves, we're much more likely to get to the root cause of what it is that is going on. And secondly, get there faster. So if you are thinking this year is going to be your year where you really want to see a significant increase in the money that comes in and the way that it works for you and how you work and how it feels, let's have a look at these exercises. Number 1, if you want to increase your prices this year, you need to work out where you are spending the majority of maybe your time, probably your time, but maybe your money if you're putting ads behind it. Where are you spending the majority of your time and your money? Where are you aiming that? Where are you targeting that? Who are you talking to? Now, there are so many layers to this. And I will speak on my own experience, having done this for 25 years. But I very much approached my marketing wanting to help everybody. wanting to be really accessible to everybody, to not leave anybody out. And I know that that stems from who I was as a child. You know, you always wanted to, or rather you were encouraged to be the kind, sensible, caring, considerate girl. And that meant making sure that everybody had everything covered. Almost to the point sometimes where you put your own needs out of the picture. And I have seen my personal brand, my business in many different shapes. And that has meant moments where, say, I was very vulnerable in my own time of life, you know, moments when I was pregnant or early postpartum. I had all kinds of client nonsense, people messing me about, people, I'm not going to go into all the details, but a lot of moments now that I look back on and go, oh, wow, people really didn't honor their word. And yes, you could say, well, it's not in a contract, so it's just their word. But in that moment, they had no qualms in either taking my time for free, taking my resources, copying and pasting my website. Like, I've had so many of these things. And what I've realized is when I come back to one of my main pillars, my values, of wanting to create a positive ripple effect in this world, I've realized that in order to do that, I need to have two things moving alongside each other at the same time. I do need to have, for me personally, I need to have a lot of free content out there. I need to build a portfolio of free content that can be accessed around the world. I like doing that. I spent so much of my childhood not feeling like I knew anything or knew anybody. I was always just asking questions and I couldn't find it. That was, you know, the 80s and 90s, absolutely. But now that I am in a position where I'm in my mid-40s and I do know stuff, I absolutely want to make that accessible. So I will never stop doing that. However, I have learned in order to build the personal brand and the impact that I want to create, not just in my work, but in my community, in the causes that I support, in my own family, my own home. And that's not just with my kids and my partner, that's with parents, that's with siblings, that's with nieces, that's with godchildren, that's with cousins, like everybody, friends, all the people. I know that I need to charge well so I can operate from a place that I can function. And not even function like I need to get a private jet anywhere. No, just like have the stuff that I need in order to make things work. And what I did for so many years was I tried to serve everybody for free and not be targeted enough. And targeted sounds like the wrong word, but like connected enough with those ideal clients who were not only wanting to pay, they were ready to pay. They were ready to do the work. They were people who put their money where their mouth is, like I do too. I have never been somebody who just sits on the sidelines and hopes for the best or always goes for the free version. If there is something that I want, I will find a way to make it happen. I will put a plan together to the point where sometimes I have awkward conversations with, like, oh, I can't go away for that weekend with friends or, because I've been committed in doing something else. I would love you to analyze where you are spending your time, your focus, your money. And if you are looking at increasing your prices and all you're doing is spending that time with people who are not in a position to pay you, there's going to be a disconnect right there. So observe that and make sure you are talking to people who not only can afford you, but they are ready to pay you. Not just talk about it, They are ready to sign the contract. Number 2, I have really looked at this. When I go through that price increase, why I need to and want to personally and professionally increase my prices and do that with integrity. Now, we have had access to people's coaching journeys and experiences over the years where they will say, I work with this coach and I increased my monthly revenue by 77% immediately over the weekend, or whatever it might be. And that is great. But what I always want you to do when you are increasing your prices, when you are making a move in your business and your personal brand, is to build it from a place of stability, of integrity, of that has a strong reasoning behind it. And what this means is when we see people online who are chopping and changing their messaging, and I've got this new program, and if you sign up tomorrow, it's coming. Like, I've seen these people over the years. That, for me, as the purchaser, and that I can only speak for myself, makes me feel uneasy. Makes me feel that things are wobbly behind the scenes. So, if you know that you have a strong reason, professionally and personally, why you are increasing your prices, why you are working in a different way, it will really smooth the transaction. And you don't have to reveal all of this online and say, hey guys, as of April the 1st, I am increasing my prices because of these 59 reasons. You don't have to do that. However, if you approach a situation and you know why you're doing what you're doing, not just like plucking a figure out the top of your head, you're going to approach it with much more integrity. Number 3, I would love you to analyze the person or the identity, the persona of the person who charges at the level that you want to be charging at. Because sometimes what we can realize is on paper or in the room or in the content that is delivered, you are the same as that person. The only difference is that they are charging more, and the identity piece. The capability, the information, the transformation, it's the same. You have the same kind of experience, the same level of intelligence, the same likability factor. But there is something about that person that means that they can command a higher identity. A higher meaning they are that person who does what they say they're going to do. They are up to date with things. Their admin is sharp. They don't go to a meeting running because they missed the bus because they overslept and they didn't set an alarm. They are doing the things. And sometimes it's that moment, if you think about those people in your life, you know, that one person who walks into a room and you have that moment of like, wow, they mean business. And that doesn't have to be a scary thing. That means a moment of, I feel in safe hands here. This feels really, really great. I remember going to look at a school when I was looking with my son all those years ago. And I remember saying to Matt about one of the head teachers, and I said, wow, if he runs his school like he irons his shirts and he gives the same attention to his school, we are on to a winner here. Because this shirt that this guy had, it was pressed and ironed within an inch of its life. Now, of course, you might interpret that like, wow, maybe he's a disciplinarian. Maybe there's no wiggle room. But he showed up in a way where he meant business, where he was like, if I'm going to iron my shirt, I'm going to do it properly. If I'm going to run a school, if I'm going to lead a school, I'm not going to be slapdash. I'm going to be thoughtful and discerning and considered in my approach. I want you to look at, in terms of this money increase, where you need to polish things up. Maybe you need to organize, maybe you need to declutter, maybe you need to elevate. Maybe you need to get rid of some stuff on your website at the moment because it's not quite of the standard that you want. And I would rather you have less on your website and build at the new level rather than everybody showing up in that kind of cluttered way. I have been to that sale called SmartWorks over the years, which is a charity sale where there's lots of sort of high street clothes and some designer clothes at cheaper prices, and then the money is given to the charity. And if you go at the beginning of the day where everything's ordered, everything is put together, you are much more likely to probably get something that you want rather than that 10 to 4 moment where there's literally just clothes on the floor and then you end up walking away going, I don't want to buy something that's like just been on the floor. In order to command that next level of prices and that next level of polish, you need to do the work first. Most people will do the opposite. They'll wait till they're chosen, till they're validated, till they get the opportunity. It all begins with you. Number 4, I would love you to explore the concerns, anxieties, worries, fears about this increase. What's really going on? What are you worried about? Are you worried that people will think you're too expensive? Are you worried about losing clients? Are you worried about paying more tax? Are you worried about being able, whether or not you can deliver on that higher level? What are you worried about? It's so important that you do that work, because if you unpick it, if you go through all the motions right now, it's going to be easier to navigate should any of those moments actually occur in real life. Because your brain automatically, when you're in that situation, will go, oh, this feels really familiar. Okay, what do I need to do? Rather than coming to it cold and hoping for the best and then going into total freeze mode. I would love you to have a look at what is underneath. What's going to be the worst thing that could happen if you, and I don't say that lightly, but just playing around with this idea, seeing what's underneath you making more money. Are there any benefits to it? Yes, I'm sure there are. And are there any cons? What is holding you back? Because remember, your subconscious often is running the show in that. So whether or not you acknowledge it or not, your subconscious is like, it's all right, I know what I'm doing, I'll take the lead. If that is negative, you don't want your subconscious to take the lead on that one. Number 5, I mentioned at the beginning of this, increasing your prices is not just a spreadsheet job. It's not just about changing the figure on your website. It is about embodiment. So one of the best things that you can do right now is practice. Practice saying bigger prices. Practice talking about different things in different ways. The reason being is that is often the barrier between you being able to sell something at that higher price or not. Because as soon as you say that price, people who are looking to buy it are looking to see how that is sitting in your body. Are you in alignment with it? And if you're wobbly and be like, oh, sorry, I actually don't know what the price is because I've just upped my prices actually. So hang on a minute, what's the number? And you're like rattling around in your phone. Already the person on the other end of the dialogue is thinking, they're not ready. They are not ready to charge at that price, and I don't want to pay them at that price. And it all feels a little bit out of alignment here. So if you are serious about increasing your prices right now, I want you to try on ideas, experiment, see how things sit in your body, and really listen to what's going on. Your body will tell you so much, and you can begin that process now. Even before you found those clients who will pay you at that higher rate, remember, All of this selling begins in your house, your living room, your bed, your shower, wherever you do your pricing chat. Get going right now and begin to vocalize it. Begin to say it out loud. It's going to reveal so much. Lots of love. And do check out Create Your Income Pie. There are 3 ways to join, and I'll leave the details down below. Also, if you add magic at checkout, you can save 20%.